Hello, welcome back. Another Marky-mark video. Some lovely new records to show you in this video. It's been a little while. I've been waiting for a couple of special ones, which I'll talk about in a minute. Had lots of things happen, building work, mess, and I'm going to be rearranging my setup soon. So I'm kind of looking at speaker cables and whatnot. Anyway, let's dive in to some of the treats that I've managed to find in the last few weeks. I'm going to kick straight off with this little beauty, which has come back in print. It's Speaker's Corner's Herbie Hancock's Man-Child. And if you're not familiar with Herbie Hancock, then why? This is the funkiest, loveliest listen known to man. Well, I think it's fantastic. I like Herbie Hancock's earlier stuff, and what you can just dip into Herbie. It's lovely that the earlier stuff's great, the later funky stuff, it's a real journey when you listen to Herbie Hancock. And if you haven't heard this one, then I thoroughly recommend it. Listen to it before you listen to Headhunters. That's it, Headhunters. But this is a 2013 release on Sony Music, and it is fantastic. Very happy, funky as hell, lovely. Next up, I'm going to talk about the Blue Note Classic series, and I'm so pleased to have this Stanley Turrentine with Shirley Scott, Common Touch. A fabulous record, this, equally funky and just plain gorgeous. Really happy to see that the Blue Note Classic series have really upped their game. So we're getting scratch-proof inners, we're getting beautiful covers, lovely photography. Obviously, it's just pin sharp. It's lovely, really lovely quality. Hype sticker says mastered from the original analog tapes by, of course, Kevin Gray. And one of the things I've noticed about the classic series very recently is they're starting to put stickers on saying made in Germany. So I'm really pleased to see that there's a real, there's a kind of stamp of authority of where these are being made. And I have to say the quality is now fantastic. You compare it to the Blue Note, the bog standard 75th series. I think these are now getting much better. And I'm happy to say this sounds fantastic. So that's Stanley Turrentine's Common Touch. We've got, of course, Stanley Turrentine on tenor sax, Shirley Scott on organ, Jimmy Ponder on organ is Jimmy Ponder, guitar Bob Cranshaw, Fender bass Leo Morris, and Francis Wolff produced. It sounds fantastic. So very happy with that. Right, next record. I showed an original in my last video, and sadly there was a nasty pressing defect and I had to take it back and basically get my money back. Well, I kind of swapped it for another couple of records, but Jim Hall's Concerto. So I was really lucky to see that Pure Pleasure have a small clutch of these still for sale. There's a slight discount because they've got a ding on. It's a tiny little ding. I'm really quite impressed. I contacted them and said, look, I know you're selling these slightly cheaper. How big is the ding? And the response was, well, it's a tiny, and it really is. It's a tiny little ding on the top corner. It's not a deal breaker at all. But anyway, double LP. The second LP is a recorded number of sort of outtakes, alternatives to the album. And I love the guitar playing of Jim Hall. I mean, if you've listened to the Bill Evans collaboration, Undercurrent, you'll love this. It starts off with a lovely jazz standard, You'd Be So Nice. And it just gets better and better and better. Really fantastic. I'm going to play side 2 a bit later on. But I recommend listening to that. I recommend that. It's fantastic. So on that note, I then managed to get a Jim Hall commitment. So my local record store said, okay, sorry about Concerto, have a listen to this. And I'm really pleased to say, it sounds fantastic. It's Jim at his best, as far as I'm concerned. I love reading all about how this album was made and what inspired Jim. He's just a fantastic guitar player. And there's a nice picture of him there. Sadly, he's no longer with us. I think he died in the early 2000s, I think. But this is a lovely record. Really nice to listen to. And following on from that, I'm going to talk about this one. Now, this is absolutely fantastic. This is Robo Hands. The album's called Shapes. I love the artwork on this. That's what drew me. This just popped up on my Facebook feed, and I thought, well, I'll give it a listen on Spotify, and then I'll track down an album. And this is a 2020 edition on King Underground. They've just brought out a coloured variant of the record. I don't care for coloured variants because this sounds fantastic. I don't know where it was pressed, but the quality of the record was fantastic. And when it came to me, the record was stored on the outside of the sleeve in a cover. So on the hype sticker says, the third album from UK multi-instrumentalist Robo Hands, and it's classified as jazz, krautrock, ambient music. So it's a lovely listen. Really laid back, gentle, lovely beats, fantastic jazzy feel to it. And it was very much like this album, which I'm going to just briefly mention, which I bought a few years ago. Karangabin or Karangabin, I'll never say it right. And this is Con Todo El Mundo. Probably not said that right. You have a listen to this. It's a really nice laid back listen. Really lovely, gorgeous, laid back evening. It's a real treat to listen to this with Robo Hand. They're two obviously very different bands, but they just sound slightly similar. But I thoroughly recommend Karangabin as well. I also picked up from my local record store this one, Weather Report, Black Market, and it's got a fantastic scene on the front of the album of a bustling black market. And I would have probably bought the record based on just the album cover. It was only £7 or £8, I think, but it sounds fantastic. I get very funky, jazzy, very accessible. I like Weather Report. This is a 1976 recording, and I would thoroughly recommend that as well. Let's have a look at it. Right, lastly, I picked up Steely Dan's Pretzel Logic. I've got Steely Dan's Asia, which is fantastic. Pretzel Logic isn't as good, but well, for some people it's better. But if you listen to the first side, Ricky Don't Lose That Number, you'll recognise, yeah, okay. But what I like about Steely Dan is they're so tight. The session musicians they brought in for most of their music were just absolutely banging, really tight. They were perfectionists. And this is a gatefold. The record is so clean, it's lovely. There's a nice picture there of the Steely Dan. It's a great record. I mean, it's 46 years old. You know, it's fun. It's amazing. It just and that is it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm not planning on getting any records soon. Nights are drawing in, so my listening will probably increase quite a bit when kids are in bed and I've got some time. So I'm really looking forward to this winter. I'm not dreading it at all. Clocks change on Sunday or Saturday, but I'm not going to worry about it. It's fine. Spin loads of records and enjoy myself. So thanks ever so much, and thanks for your support. Take care. Cheers. Bye.